Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Heavy Water 77. Hope you all are doing well. We are doing well, at least I am doing well. And Joe, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk about this. This has been a bit of a long time coming here. This is an episode that we've teased for a while.
Yeah. That episode what we're talking about, that episode we've been talking about is Damn Yankees debut album. Of course, we're kind of branching out into all the members of Styx's other projects, and this is one of the big bangers as far as branching out, I should say. Damn Yankees debut album. Whoops. Here we go. Here it is, everybody. This is the graphics. This is how good at graphics I am. Sorry. But what do you got on this album, Joe?
Quite a bit, actually. It's refreshing to have this much
Right.
background information on an album again. Um, it was nice. We had Edge of the Century last episode, had some information on that. Now we got Damn Yankees, got some information here. Um, so by the late '80s, there was a lot of supergroups that were really becoming the rage in pop music, with pop and rock, and you had Bad English, and you had a lot of other Mike and the Mechanics, a lot of supergroups getting big around that time, and so a producer by the name of John Kalodner, who had been working at Geffen Records, had worked with Aerosmith, with Asia, Whitesnake. He put together Coverdale Page. He was really big in the music industry. He saw three guys. He saw Tommy Shaw, he saw Jack Blades, and he saw Ted Nugent, and said, all three of these guys are not in the place they were 10 years ago. Of course, we know Tommy Shaw was kind of floundering in his solo career at this point, really hadn't had a lot of success uh, post Styx. Night Ranger had been pretty much dead in the
Yeah.
water at that point for Jack Blades. And then Ted Nugent really hadn't had anything big since at least the early 80s. And so this producer decided, I'm going to put these three guys together, bring in a drummer named Michael Cardelloni, and going to basically create this supergroup. We're going to call it Damn Yankees. They're going to make an album together, and we'll just see how it goes. And so that was 1989. By the time 1990 rolls around, March 13th, 1990, this album comes out on Warner Brothers Records, and it blew up pretty big. There were three pretty big singles off this album, five total singles. Four of them actually went top 10 on the mainstream rock charts. Only one
Oh,
crossed over into the top 10 on the Billboard general charts, which we'll talk about when we get to
we
that.
all know
But
that
this
song.
album, we all know that song. But this album made it pretty big. This album ended up going double platinum, which is a lot more successful than anything Styx related in the last 10 years. Um, so this album was pretty big, and it really relaunched the careers of all three of the main people in the band. Tommy would end up, of course, rejoining Styx. Jack Blades would end up rejoining Night Ranger, which he's still with to this day, and Ted Nugent would end up getting a lot more
Ted
touring
Nugent.
power behind him. He would end up really relaunching his solo career with a lot more touring power behind him, and it was all thanks to the success of this album. And the thing about this album is, as we talked about the last little bit, we've both been a little bit disappointed in Tommy Shaw's solo work. We really didn't
Yeah.
think it was the direction that we wanted him to be going. And boy, am I happy to report that he found the light. And whether it's because he was working with the people he was working with, or if he just found some new inspiration, whatever it was, thank the Lord for it, because this album,
Yeah.
spoiler alert, is fantastic.
Yeah,
So
there was definitely you could just tell in Tommy's demeanor and everything. He seemed to have a new swagger and a very good confidence, which is so good to see again. I mean, because like I said, I'm a huge Tommy Shaw fan. I'm a huge Dennis DeYoung fan. Everybody, despite what some people might think, I'm a huge Dennis fan too. But um, it was good to see this in Tommy because he's a great musician. So I'm happy for this album. All right, so let's get into the tracks here. We'll start out with the killer opening track, "Coming of Age." What do you got
yep,
on this one?
this was one of the first singles from the album. It went to number 60 on the Billboard charts, but it was a number one hit on the mainstream rock charts. It was the only anything number one off this album was this song on the mainstream rock charts. And I mean, what a way to kick off the album. This is one of the two songs before I was a fan of this album as a kid. There was two songs off this album that I knew by heart, and this was one of them. Still gets played on the radio all the time. Fantastic opening tune, great rock song. The harmonies right off the bat is something I'm going to be talking about a lot on this album. Jack Blades and Tommy Shaw on the harmony vocals, just absolutely phenomenal. The guitar work on this one, it's just a great rockin' tune. Great way to open up the album, in my opinion. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, I was really impressed when I heard this. Like I said, when I heard about this band coming together, I'm like Ted Nugent and Tommy Shaw and Jack Blades. Interesting. So I'm like, I wasn't too looking forward to, I'm not looking, I was looking forward to it, but I wasn't expecting much. That's what I meant. Excuse me. But I absolutely love this song, man. I think it's a great way to start off the album. Jack and Tommy's voices, like you said, sound so freaking good together. Love the main riff, that dun, 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 dun. I love that riff. Learn how to play that like right away. It's not that hard, but it's real fun to play. And I think Ted, it's just, this is a different, it's more poppy. Even though Ted did some kind of poppy stuff in the 80s, but this is kind of like pop rock for him. But he does make his mark on this song and all these songs. You hear Ted Nugent in here. And I've always thought Ted was a top-notch player, and he proves it in here. Great fucking start, man. I love this song, man. We're off to a great start on this one. So the next song, Bad Reputation. What do you got on this one?
All right. So when I first started listening to this album years ago, this was the first one, song that I didn't know. So I'm coming into it. I knew Coming of Age. So we get to track two here. This was actually a single. This was the last single released on the album. Did absolutely nothing on any charts. So at this point, it was the fifth single. So it's one of those albums where they put out a bunch of singles, and this one was the one that did nothing. So they're like, okay, we're gonna stop now.
They kind of die
Um,
down after a while. Every album does it, except
yeah,
for Dark Side of the Moon. But yeah, okay.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, I love the opening riff on this one. A great heavier tune. I'm not huge on the chorus though. I will say that the chorus itself, I'm not huge on, but everything else about the song I absolutely love. The breakdown is fantastic, where it gets slower and the harmonies come in, and then as you expect, just right from that little short breakdown into this scorching guitar solo from Ted Nugent. Just absolutely ripping it up as he does on pretty much every track on this album. I'm going to be saying that quite a bit too. Harmony vocals, Ted Nugent's guitar work. That's this album right here. Um, just a great track, even though I'm not huge on the chorus. Everything else about this song is fantastic.
I think that's the thing. You never associate with Ted Nugent with harmony vocals. You know what I mean? Together. So I mean, he had great singers with them. I mean, so Saint Derek St. Holmes it was an
Oh
incredible
yeah,
singer, but never,
Meatloaf.
yeah, me love it. Never harmonizing vocals though, like he has on this one. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
dig the riffage on this song. Killer fucking rocking tune. His harmonies are so good. I think I'd like the chorus. I think it's a catchy, big chorus. Like I said, it's like just a killer rocking song. Still sounds fresh to this day, in my opinion. This whole album does. Ted is a little more Ted on this one. The trade-off in vocals is really good. I do remember hearing this a little bit on the radio down in South Florida. Like I said, it wasn't a really big hit, but I thought it was a good tune. I thought for that time period, this song was really good. And then, like I said, it's still fresh today, in my opinion. So another great song. The next track, Runaway. What do you got on this one, man?
One of my favorite tracks on the album. I mean, this song is insanely catchy. This song right here is what I wanted. If Tommy Shaw was going to start adding a little bit more pop into his music with his solo career, this is what he should have been doing the entire time. It is still heavy. It has plenty of balls, but it's catchy, it's poppy, it has some keyboards in there, but it's a great mix of it. There's still guitar, there's still this anthemic nature to it, and it's still heavy in a way that his solo material wasn't. And I think this is where he's really finding himself in a great balance where he can do the heavier stuff. There's some great ballads that he does on this album, but this is that if he wanted to be poppy, this is what he should have been doing the whole time because this is fantastic. This is one of my favorite songs on the album. Just awesome.
This is one of the first songs that you definitely tell Tommy had a lot to do with the production and writing of this song. Classic Tommy Shaw sounding tune. This could have been a stick song, maybe. Work a couple parts in there a little. It could have been. Great solo by Ted yet again. As far as compared to the rest of the album, it's maybe a little slicker in the production, which doesn't mean it's
It
bad.
is.
Um, it's not my favorite of the first three songs, but I really dig it. It's a good, solid poppy rock song. So yeah. And this was on the radio quite a bit as well. Another one of the songs
Yeah,
I
this
did
was a
hear a lot on
single.
the
This
radio.
one was top 10 song on the mainstream rock charts. So,
Yeah. Three for three so far, though, I think, though, in my opinion.
mhm.
And then we move on to this deep track, which none of you probably have ever heard before, called High Enough. What do you got on that song, man?
No clue, never heard of it. I mean, I think we've talked about there's songs that the radio will play pretty much every day. This is one of them. Um, and for good reason. I've always loved this song. I mean, Jack Blades and Tommy Shaw harmonizing on this song. It's just it's hard to beat. It's not two guys you would ever really thought of together, but
Yeah.
it and as we'll talk about, there's a couple more albums we got coming up of them harmonizing, and it's no, we're only going up from here, folks. So
We are. Yeah.
um yeah, I've always loved this song. Huge hit. This song was a top 5 hit on the regular Billboard charts. Easily their biggest hit. This is the song that launched this album into the stratosphere, and 100% deserved in my opinion. Great power ballad. I mean, it's just a great song. Um, I think it's a hit for a reason. I think it deserved it. Great tune in my opinion.
Yeah, I remember an interview with Ted Nugent when they first started this band. They're saying, well, one thing about this cool band, we're not going to do any of this slow ballady shit. Well, I think you might have been outvoted there, Ted, a little bit because this is probably
Mm-hmm.
ballady as you get. This is a great song, man. It's one of those classic hair metal songs you hear on every compilation that's come out. Love the lead vocals from Jack, and Tommy adds his harmony to it, which makes it even better. Love me a good acoustic guitar riff. This one has it. Even like the string arrangement in the beginning, I think it's kind of
Yeah.
cool. It kind of gets the song going, I think. I remember when I first heard this song, I'm thinking, man, this is going to be fucking huge. And I was right because it just had that song. It was everywhere. That big chorus just screams mega hit. Um, and again, something probably Ted's not used to playing, but he left his mark with that solo. It's a great solo. Um, yeah, I mean, great fills through it too. I mean, it's very powerful. One of those ballads that just kick you in the teeth, if there's such a thing as a ballad kicking you in the teeth. Even had a
Mm-hmm.
cool videos for it too, just them damn Yankees. It says damn Yankees. I remember that video. It was cool. Yeah, but this song is still, I listen to this song quite a bit still, and you hear it a lot on the radio still. So yeah, great fucking song. Let's move into the band's title track, Damn Yankees.
So this one kind of reminds me of another title track from one of these guys. The chorus especially reminds me of the song Night Ranger. Um, I can hear it a little bit in the chorus. Um, I think it's a cool tune. Um, the opening riff's great. It's a groovier track. Ted's guitar work on this song, he is absolutely shredding it. I think his guitar work is easily the standout of this song. Of all the songs so far, I think this is a bit more of an average song, but I think there's stuff like the guitar work that makes it a little bit better than it is, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, this song is possibly my favorite on the album. I don't think Ted gets enough credit as much as the other two do, I think, on this album. I keep saying it, his guitar playing is amazing on this. Uh, Such catchy tunes so far, and this one's catchy too. It does remind me a little bit of Night Ranger's first album, Dawn Patrol. I love that break around the 2:45 mark where there's cool guitar sounds and Ted doing that kind of stranglehold moment where he's doing that little quick little vocal he does. I really dig that. That was
Mm-hmm.
really cool. Yeah, this is a great deep track, and I love it. Let's move into another song you may have heard of. Um, Come Again.
This was the third hit from the album, definitely overshadowed by High Enough, but I think just as good, if not better, in my opinion. Underrated song for me. I think that this song takes what High Enough was doing and just even amplifies it even more because you
Oh,
have that beautiful opening acoustic section, Tommy's vocals, and then Jack comes in with the harmonies. But then it kicks in and Ted just shreds out this fantastic solo, and it kicks up towards the end where it goes into the double time and it rocks out towards the end, and they keep that harmony going. Just such a fantastic song, one of my favorites on the album. I mean, I've always loved this tune. Just such a great song. And again, this is the kind of stuff, if Tommy Shaw wanted to incorporate some of these more pop ballad elements, this is the kind of stuff. And I guess it was just needing to have the right people around him to really kind of kick him into gear, to kick his songwriting up to the level that it needed to be. Because I think from here on out, Tommy Shaw is on a roll for a lot of the stuff he does for the rest of his career. And I don't know if it
pretty
was
much.
just these guys that kicked him back into that gear that kind of got him out of whatever funk he was in the late 80s, if it was the drugs or whatever it was. But songs like this are what I've been missing from Tommy for a while. And I think this is a great example of what he can do when he's on top form.
Yeah, I've often said this about this song quite a bit. If Sticks and Night Ranger were to have a baby, it would be this song. Um, I've always said it before, Tommy and the acoustic guitar is a magical thing, and the riff on here is so cool. Nice string arrangement through it. Even the un-Ted-like songs, Ted is making his mark. I keep saying it, but you hear Ted definitely giving his input in these songs, which I dig. Great harmonies. That and the fucking you mentioned all the cool breaks in this song, really cool. I love how it rocks out towards the end. It's just this is what you call a hit song. You just tell. It's the definition of a hit song. It's this song, in my opinion. Great, great, great song. Oh, excuse me. The next song, Mystified. What do you got on this one, man?
Yeah, this is something a little bit different for Tommy. This is a bluesier track. It's kind of it has that blues feel to it. This is not what we really expect from Tommy, but I think he does a really good job with it. It's a cool track, kind of different for this album. It's really the only song that sounds like this on the album, so it sticks out a little bit, but I think in a good way. I think it's something different. We've had the heavy songs, we've had the kind of more ballad stuff, we've had the little bit of the slicker pop song, but this is something different. It's an extra shade on the album, and I really enjoy it. I think it's a cool track.
Yeah. I love the opening slide playing here. I dig it, man. It's a great deep track.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can't talk enough. Oh, I have talked a lot about Ted's guitar playing, but I'm going to keep talking about it because I think it's amazing. Really cool bluesy vibe. Again, vocally brilliant. Um, Break time's over, boy. I love that part, man. It's just oh, so much. I mean, it's just so great of a rock and it's just a great rock and roll song. Um, I don't mind pushing that broom, baby. I just love the lyrics, man, and how Tommy sings it. Just really cool. Great song. This album has not been disappointing. It's not slowing down, and it will not slow down the rest of the way either. With that being said, the next song, Rock City.
Yeah, this is a more of a straight ahead rock song. This you get the Ted Nugent. This is a Ted Nugent song, definitely. You can hear him all over this one. Um, I think this is more of the kind of like the this and the next song I'll kind of talk about a little bit, or they kind of backload the album with a little bit of filler here at the end. Um, but I think it's still good. It's killer filler, definitely. It's nothing that I would immediately go to right away, but when I'm listening to the album, it's nothing I would ever skip either. I think it's a solid tune, if not spectacular.
Yeah, that's what I got. The song is just, it's not as good as the rest of them, but it's killer filler, in my opinion, my exact words. So, has all the classic elements of a Damn Yankee song so far, vocals, playing, all that. Just never came together as far as the rest of the songs, but by all means, I'm not saying it sucks at all. I dig it. Uh, there's a weird breakdown around a 3 minute mark I'm not crazy about. But I don't know. It's just something about this song doesn't, yeah, it's forgettable, I think. That's the word I'm looking for, forgettable. It doesn't suck, but I won't rush to hear it. Absolutely. Yeah, just meh. So let's go on to the next track. Tell me how you want it.
This is probably what I would pick as my least favorite song on the album. And again, if this is my least favorite song on the album, that's saying a lot about the album because it's not a bad song at all. I think it's a decent tune. Again, though, like the last song, it's not anything I would go back to. Pretty much everything else on this album, I would individually seek out that track. This I would not, and Rock City I wouldn't. Just a kind of an average tune. I really like the pre-chorus though. There's a cool little section before the chorus comes in that I really like. Other than that, there's nothing really that stands out about this song. So probably if I had to pick a least favorite song on this album, this is probably what I would pick.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you pretty much everything you said, but I'm gonna get some props out to Michael Cardelloni. I mean, we're not giving him any notice so far. His drum, I think, is really good, and he's give him credit for being that drummer for this guy. You know what I mean? You got Ted
Yeah,
Nugent, Tommy Shaw, Jack Blades, and that drummer. You know what I mean?
and that
So
guy.
that guy, exactly. Yeah, I agree with everything you said. Poppy and glossy with a big pinch of Ted. But yeah, just another song that's like, man, in my opinion, doesn't suck at all. I'm not saying it sucks. But and the big vocals here just don't hit me like they've done on the rest of the songs. This is
Yeah.
very, I agree with what all you said. So we will close this album out with, I'm gonna spoil it and call it a fucking banger ahead of time. Pile Driver, man. What do you got on it?
Well, at least they know how to close an album. I'll tell you
Oh
that.
shit.
Jeez, Zooey. Holy crap, this is one hell of a song. I mean, Ted Nugent just coming in and absolutely pummeling everybody. I mean, fast and furious. The chorus is fantastic. Ted is just all over the fretboard on this song, and you have Tommy and Jack backing him up all the way. I think Jack Blades plays some great bass on this. Tommy back there on rhythm. And then again, Michael Carlone does a great job on this album. Nothing spectacular, but I think he has a solid playing throughout this album, and especially this track. He's really, really on top of it. Fantastic way to close the album. Top three song from the album, in my opinion, easily.
But just in case you've checked out from the last couple of songs, here comes Ted to knock some fucking crap out of you with some blistering doses of rock and roll riffage. Love this song, man. A great ending. A song is important to an album and to me, and this fucking delivers, man. It's got some corny spoken words all throughout it, but they're having fun with it, it looks
That's
like. You know what I
Ted.
mean?
That's very Ted.
Yeah. And I think this is probably one of the heaviest tunes Ted has ever written. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
really, really fucking solid, great rocking. And
Definitely
I
one of the
wish Ted
heaviest
would.
song Tommy Shaw's ever played on.
Oh, absolutely. I think this is a great song, great ending off a fantastic album, man. So, all right, that is our review of Damn Yankees' first album, first of two albums. Of course, they didn't do well, that third album pretty much became a Blades and Shaw album, right? Pretty much some of it,
Yep.
some of it did, right? Yeah. But yeah, we're looking forward to getting into these Damn Yankees and Blades and Shaw's album. That's gonna be a lot of fun. So we got a couple of those coming up. What do we got coming up next, man?
Well, we have been diving into the vault. It's been a lot of conversation online lately about the sessions that came up after Edge of the Century, when Dennis DeYoung, Glenn Burtnick, and James Young all sat down and started to write some songs together for a follow up to Edge of the Century. And those tracks circulated for a long time, and people kind of whispered in hushed tones about these demos. And not long ago, they surfaced on YouTube and they were quickly taken down, but someone did manage to get a hold of them and they are available. And so we're going to be taking a look at those next week. The Son of Edge demos, that followed up Edge of the Century. So we'll be taking a look at those. So just something a little bit different because it wasn't something we originally planned on looking at, but there's been a
Right.
lot of discourse online lately about these demos. And so Jerry and I both kind of said, I know we've had some people mention it in the comments section. So Jerry and I both kind of said, hey, do we want to take a look at these? And
Sure.
we agreed we're going to take a look at them, see what we think. It's not a Styx album, but it was the beginning genesis of a Styx album that never happened. So it's going to be something really cool to look at. Kind of an album that never was, and so we'll be taking a look at that just as a way of breaking up all this early '90s Tommy Shawness here.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah, I
we're
mean,
going to be taking
I
a look at
dig,
that.
I dig, yeah, I dig demos
Yeah,
and stuff like that. So I'm really looking
yeah.
forward to talking about this. So cool.
And again, this is something I've never heard before, so I'm looking forward to hearing what these
Yeah,
songs sound
me
like.
neither.
So
Yeah, I heard it one time, and well, I don't want to give it away. But anyway, thank you all for listening and joining us for this show. Thank you all for subscribing. Thank you all for leaving comments. Tell a friend, tell two friends. They have them tell three friends. We
Tell an enemy. I
appreciate
don't
you.
know.
Tell an enemy. Yeah, shit. But anyway, thank you so much. And we will see you again for our next episode. And leave us some comments if you want us to cover something we haven't talked about yet or we missed something, let us know. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye.